Antichrist, the great test for men. Who is he? Is he a human? Who is his family and what is his duty? Interesting events and the coming of Prophet Jesus are all in this video. The Antichrist is considered an important part of the sign of the apocalypse. The Antichrist is known as an entity that will emerge with the aim of leading people astray from the true path. Antichrist, the word Antichrist is not explicitly mentioned in the Quran. However, some scholars dwell on the relationship of the concept of Taghut with the Antichrist in verse 256 of Surah Al-Baqarah. This verse deals with the situation of those who oppose Allah and do not worship Him. In addition, verse 159 of Surah An-Nisa mentions the role of Hazrat Jesus in the pre-doomsday period and the fact that the people of the book will believe in him. In this context, comments are made that the fitna of the Antichrist will also be experienced during this period. Antichrist in the Hadiths. The most information about the Antichrist is found in the Hadiths of our Prophet Muhammad. The characteristics of the Antichrist, the places where he will appear and the actions he will take are described in detail in the Hadiths. For example, it is stated that the Antichrist is one-eyed and that he will show various deceptions to confuse people's minds. It is also stated that the Antichrist will roam the earth for 40 days and will try to deceive people during this time. There are narrations in the Hadiths that the Antichrist will appear from the east and will appear especially in regions such as Khorasan, Isfahan, and Damascus. It is emphasized that Muslims should be patient during this period and be careful against the deceptions of the Antichrist. There are some narrations in the Hadiths about the Antichrist's brother and father. Here are these narrations. The Antichrist's brother. There is some information in the Hadiths about the Antichrist's brother. According to the narrations, the Antichrist's brother will also work to mislead people like him and will participate in his strife. It is stated that his brother will help the Antichrist in his emergence and support his deceptions. Some sources state that the brother of the Antichrist will also claim extraordinary powers and try to deceive people. The father of the Antichrist. There are also some narrations about the father of the Antichrist. In the Hadiths, it is stated that the father of the Antichrist is tall, overweight, and has a big nose. These features are evaluated in connection with the physical features of the Antichrist. In the narrations, it is stated that his father can also be effective in deceiving people and that he can contribute to the strife of the Antichrist. Definition and characteristics of the Antichrist. Antichrist is a word of Arabic origin and means deceiver. According to Islamic belief, the Antichrist is considered one of the signs of the apocalypse and is a figure with extraordinary powers to lead people into disbelief. In the Hadiths, it is stated that the Antichrist is one-eyed and will show various deceptive tricks to deceive people. He is also known as the Messiah Antichrist because one of his eyes is dim. When will he come? No specific date is given for when the Antichrist will come. However, the Hadiths state that the period in which he will appear will be a period in which religion weakens and knowledge decreases. While some narrations state that the Antichrist will appear from the east, others suggest that he may appear at the beginning of any century. Islamic scholars emphasize that it is obligatory to believe in the emergence of the Antichrist. The duty of the Antichrist. The most important duty of the Antichrist is to lead people astray from the right path and lead them to disbelief. During this process, he will deceive people by talking about goodness and beauty and try to make them believe in him by showing them various deceptions. It is stated in the Hadiths that there will be rivers of fire and water next to the Antichrist and that people will be tested on which of these rivers they will choose. This is done to test people's reasoning abilities. Here is the answer to whether the Antichrist will perform a miracle or magic. Istidraj. The extraordinary events that the Antichrist displays are generally called istidraj. Istidraj is the miracles that unbelievers and evil-intentioned people perform in accordance with their desires. The Antichrist will perform such magical shows in order to deceive people and will try to introduce himself as a god. The claim of resurrecting the dead. There are narrations in the Hadiths that the Antichrist will claim to resurrect the dead. However, such actions are not considered true miracles, but deceptions. Muslims have been warned not to be fooled by such shows. Heaven and hell. The Antichrist will have two rivers next to him, one looks like water and the other like fire. People will be tested on which of these rivers they will choose. This situation requires people to make the right choice by using their minds. The difference between real miracles and magic. The events shown by the Antichrist are invalid when compared to the miracles of a real prophet. Real miracles are only given to prophets by Allah. the Antichrist is a human being and the signs he shows are considered magic or deception. Test of faith. The Antichrist is seen as a test to test the faith of Muslims. During this period, a clear distinction will emerge between those who have faith and those who have weak faith. It is emphasized that believers must be patient and be careful against the deceptions of the Antichrist. Social and religious effects. With the coming of the Antichrist, social unrest will increase and there will be great chaos among people. The Antichrist, who will establish a system based on atheism, aims to destroy people in both their worldly and afterlife lives. During this process, a clear distinction will emerge between believers and non-believers and the patience of believers will be tested. The coming of Hazrat Isa. According to the hadiths, when the Antichrist appears, Hazrat Isa, peace be upon him, will descend to the earth. It is narrated that Hazrat Isa will descend next to the white minaret in eastern Syria. It is reported that Hazrat Isa will join the Muslims when they gather to perform the morning prayer and will lead the prayer. After the prayer, Muslims will go out to fight the Antichrist. The struggle and result. When the Antichrist sees Hazrat Isa, he will melt like salt in water. Hazrat Isa will go after the Antichrist to kill him and will catch and kill him at the Lod Gate near Jerusalem. It is stated that during this struggle, unbelievers will die wherever the breath of Hazrat Isa reaches. The supporters of the Antichrist will be defeated and flee. As a result, the Antichrist has an important place in Islam and is the symbol of a great test to be faced in the end times. With his coming, Prophet Jesus will return to the earth and fight against the Antichrist. In this context, the Antichrist is not just a person, but also the representative of a great mischief that humanity will face. This article emphasizes that Muslims should be aware of this issue and protect their faith.